and De'Aaron Fox is now joining us via the Cowherd Global Satellite Network. First-round pick, number 5 overall out of Kentucky. All right, young man, so here we go. Now you've got, you watched this whole bubble experience. Let's just first talk about this. Were you surprised players have elected to come back and play with the social unrest and the situations going on? Where does that all land for you? Were you surprised they quickly voted to go back and play, De'Aaron?
I would say I was surprised how quickly it came back, but I thought that it would come back. I mean, everybody sees it now. This is they're on a big stage. Now that they're playing in the bubble, everybody wants to know what's going on in the bubble. Everybody wants to know what the players are thinking. Obviously, the people who disagree are going to say they don't care what the players are thinking, but people want to see what they're saying. So I think it was a good idea. I think it was a good thing to go back into the bubble and continue to play, because now you're still on that big stage. Obviously, if you left, you can go to protests and things, but right now there's no bigger stage than being in that bubble right now.
What's interesting, De'Aaron, Joey and I have been saying this. I thought the quality of play was amazing. I think it looks cool. It felt like college. It was the intensity. Were you at all surprised how good the quality of basketball was playing in Florida in front of no fans?
Yeah, man, it's actually crazy. So I didn't play the first 2 scrimmage games. And I'm kind of sitting here like, man, this is weird. I'm asking guys, like, how does it feel being out there? Because since I wasn't playing. But they did a great job with the aesthetics. Like, it's kind of like playing in LA. When you play the Lakers, the court is lit up and the crowd is kind of dark. And that's kind of how it feels like when you're playing there. So, they did a fantastic job with that. And, I think that's why guys have enjoyed playing there. Obviously, the backdrop is a bit different. So some people are shooting a lot better than they did, than they did during the season. But it's actually, I would say, a great experience playing.
Now, it's interesting. You guys had a winning record against the Clippers and a losing record against the Lakers. So let's start with the Clippers. A very deep roster. They have old guys. They got a lot of wings. They got young guys. I think it's the best roster in the NBA. That's my opinion. Yep. But you guys had some success against the Clippers. Why do you think that is?
Well, one, every time we played them, I think either one, PG or Kawhi were out. But with us, we just try to get them to play, fast. I think I had good games. Two of the 3 times we played them, which are the 2 times we won. One in LA, one in Sacramento. But yeah, I mean, that team, it hasn't been too many times where they've had their entire roster.
Yeah.
And I think, that's saying something. But I mean, that's a great team. That is a great team. Especially, when they have Kawhi and PG on the floor at the same time. I mean, they're switching everything. All of them can guard the ball. They have 2 guys that can put the ball in the basket. Well, 3 that can put the ball in the basket at will, with counting Lou Will. But yeah, I mean, when we played them, someone was always out. I think Kawhi got hurt during warm-ups one of the times we played them. And I think that hurts them when one of their stars are out.
Now, you had a losing record against the Lakers. The Lakers have enormous. First of all, they have LeBron, but it's a big team. JaVale McGee,
huge team.
Huge. I mean, they made Portland look like a junior varsity roster because they were so enormous. So did the Lakers' height and size and length, De'Aaron? Did it give you problems?
It did. It definitely did. Actually, I only played the Lakers once because I didn't play them early in the year. We had only played them twice. But yeah, man, like you once you touch the nail, which is, the free throw line area, now you're seeing, AD, either JaVale or Dwight, LeBron still sitting on the wing. Then sometimes, you have a guy like Kuz playing the 4 who's 6'9". So yeah, their length on defense alone is mind-boggling, honestly. And then you have LeBron coming down playing point guard. AD's playing the 4 because he doesn't play the 5.
Right.
And yeah, that's a huge team. I think they cause a lot of matchup problems.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I do think the one thing I saw from the Lakers in the bubble is offensively, a lot of questions. Defensively, no questions. They're veterans.
Also, I think KCP started the game. No, Avery Bradley had 20 on us in like the first half. In the first quarter, he didn't miss that game either. So it's different when Avery's hitting, even though he's not in the bubble.
So let's talk about being in the bubble. Sacramento, you guys went 3-5 in the bubble. I was really impressed that the players in one day of negotiating could figure this out. Because, you've been in negotiations for a contract. Negotiations take weeks and months. Baseball guys were screaming and yelling at each other for 60 days, and basketball guys had a day to figure it out. And I said it's pretty commendable because there's a lot of stress going on in these bubbles. You can't see family. Did you? Paul George said he unraveled emotionally. Did you sense a little bit of that, De'Aaron, that it is really hard to ask a guy to go play 3,000 miles from home, no family, no friends? Was it ever hard for you?
Oh, man. So for me, with me and my girlfriend and then me and my friends, I was always on FaceTime, having to talk to the people that I usually talk to every day. But yeah, man, it's difficult. Obviously, people will sit there and be like, you're getting paid millions to do this, blah, 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 blah. And, people don't realize how difficult it is. Obviously, you're playing basketball, your body's getting beat up. You're not seeing your loved ones, every day like you're used to. It's definitely difficult. And we were there for a little over a month, and I was ready to go. Once I realized we weren't making it, I'm like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. Obviously, I wish we made the playoffs, but we didn't, and I was ready to go home. It's a difficult thing. And, some of those guys, the guys who are going to the finals are going to be there till October. Yeah. Basically. Yeah, that's difficult. It's definitely difficult being able to do that. But I definitely commend the NBA on what they did, man. It was, I would say it was set up, great, where, the housing was great. Facilities we were using were great. It was, especially for this to be the first time, man, I give it an A. I give it an A. It could be better, but they did a fantastic job with it. Yeah,
Joy and I have said that. We think you can't. Nobody's perfect in a pandemic, man. It's airlines.
Yeah, but that, man, that was they did a fantastic job with that, and I think that's why we sit here and say, the NBA is the best league. I think that's why we say that.
Well, it's interesting. De'Aaron Fox joining us, Sacramento King point guard, great young player, among many of the great young guards in the NBA, and many of them are out west. I was saying this is that NBA players are not asking for more money. They're asking for more support from America on an issue they have with law enforcement. And for you, I ask a lot of players this, and I don't even think this is a political issue. I think it's a human issue. You grow up as a black male in America, and parents have discussions with their children that I didn't have to go through. I wasn't told to be careful. De'Aaron, if you would, for our audience, is the law enforcement issue for you as a young, black, powerful, wealthy young man in America, has it been something you've talked about with friends and dealt with for a long time?
Oh, all the time. It's actually funny. So someone on our training staff, she's Irish. So she's kind of asking what's the problem, with, the police. And one of our rookies who's actually from Florida, he was just saying obviously we all know this, and I don't like when people bring it up, that there are good cops. We all know that. We've all probably the security after school, a cop after school, you had a great relationship with them. So, but it's usually when you have a run-in with the police, it's never something good. It's never a positive. So, but for me, man, yes, I'm in the NBA, I have money, but the way I dress outside of, coming to games and doing this, I have a hoodie on, and this is when I had a lot of hair. I had a hoodie on. I usually had my hoodie on. And then I have sweatpants on. So I look like the average 18 to 23-year-old. You don't know that I have, a expensive watch on or expensive chain because I'm probably not wearing it. I'm just being comfortable going to, Walmart or something like that. And yeah, so people, not only with, police, but just, little small things like, someone checking your receipt. I make X amount of dollars. I go to Walmart, I buy something. There could be three, and it's happened. There could be three, white people in front of me. They all walk by. I probably have more money than them. Most likely than not, I probably have more money than them. They walk by. The person doesn't even look at them. Then as soon as I walk, they want to check my receipt, make sure everything is correct in my bag. And I just think that's little small things. I've never had a crazy run-in with the police. So I'm thankful for that. But there's always just little small things, someone clinching onto something, walking across the street, you kind of see them stop and kind of stare at you while you walk across. It's just little things like that, man. It's obviously frustrating. But, some people just don't understand. And I'm happy that I've had, people who aren't black actually ask me those type of questions who are around me, because, some people just truly don't get it. And, sometimes it's great that they're asking, genuine questions about it.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I think the NBA is in such good shape is there's just so many good people. I think you're one of them. I think Damian Lillard, who, I don't know most of these guys. Steph Curry I've met. I know Klay Thompson's dad. But it's a great community of kids who love basketball. And some of you want to talk about politics. And I think it's time for guys like me to listen. And I just think you have an unbelievable future. And John Calipari mostly likes me. He gets after me sometimes if I ever criticize a Kentucky Wildcat. But you are such a great face of that program and for the Sacramento Kings. I love having you on. When you're in L.A., when we get through this pandemic, come to our show, sit here. We'd love to have you promote anything you got. And we just appreciate you coming on the show today.
Oh, no, I appreciate you, man. It's always fantastic. It's always great when I'm on. So thank you.
All right. De'Aaron Fox, Sacramento Kings. Just a great player. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.